You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
Highlights of the news today, Friday the 13th of April. Huge sonic boom over West Midlands. Replacing police officers with community officers proving unpopular with the public. London University considering stopping sale of alcohol on premises to pander to Muslim students. Australia condemns North Korea for sabre rattling. Euronews with Nick Griffin from the belly of the beast. United Nations condemns internal wars in the Sudan, too late. Syrian troops fired on by rebels when trying to observe ceasefire. Thought for the day, Takfeer or worse. UK news. 2 Tornado aircraft broke the sound barrier and made a sonic boom which could be heard over a wide area of the West Midlands yesterday. The large bang was heard in Bath, Swindon, Coventry and Oxford and was thought to be an underground tremor. The 2 aircraft and their brave crews were answering a distress call from a helicopter which could have been hijacked by terrorists. It turned out that the civilian chopper was emitting the wrong frequency and the incident was a false alarm. Yet the Tornado crews showed true heroism answering the call. The sonic boom was reported in some left-wing papers to have upset people and shaken their houses. Police are being frowned upon in the latest report of taking the traditional bobby from the street and replacing them with the cardboard cutout community officers. Members of the British public are not best pleased with the idea. London Metropolitan University is considering stopping the sale of immoral alcohol on campus because it offends their Muslim students. The Muslims, who number around 20% of students, have concerns about the selling of booze on campus. Malcolm Gillies, Vice-Chancellor of London Metropolitan University, said students' values were changing. London Metropolitan University could take action because a high percentage of its students, around 20% probably, thought drinking was immoral. Apparently Gillies raised the prospect of an alcohol-free campus after gauging changing values from new students. He was quoted as saying, "It would be unwise to cling to a nostalgic view where the vast majority wanted alcohol to be available and instead take account of diverging views," he told one paper. "Our students come from all over the world and they come with changing balance of values." A spokesperson commented, "Yes, but surely people come to British universities to be educated in the British tradition." What planet is this man on? Once you destroy the traditions of one British university, the rest will follow like sheep to halal slaughter. Euronews with Nick Griffin. This week's dispatch from the belly of the beast comes from Brussels, although Nick Griffin sent it once back in Britain and on the road between the meetings in Tyneside, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Although in Brussels, Nick tells us, the bulk of my work this time was catching up with post and emails and on the phone on constituency business. I had a long discussion with a family rights campaigner on efforts to publicise the scandal of state child kidnap. The shocking treatment of loving families who have had their babies snatched by council social services is an issue that Christopher Booker has highlighted in the Daily Telegraph, but with that honourable exception, the media have ignored the injustice and heartache caused by this all too common problem. I first got in touch with one of the groups fighting this scandal in an effort to help constituents whose baby son was snatched 3 years ago by the SS, as they call them in Scotland. Despite clear evidence that the wrong decision was made at the first place, and that his current care arrangements are way inferior to those which would be provided by his real parents, the authorities are doing all they can to deny them even access to their little boy. It's cruel beyond belief, and the campaign spokesman gave me enough examples to suggest to me that the driving force behind this is a fundamentally anti-family, ideological bent amongst sections of the social services. This is another area where the issue of the ultra-left common purpose cult keeps cropping up. But whatever the background, it's good to hear that family rights campaigners are organising a demonstration outside Downing Street on July the 27th. We'll be publishing full details of this non-political event in a web article next week, but if you think you can make it, put the date in your diary straight away. On the email front, I had a very interesting exchange with a member of the Norwich Reformed Church about the persecution of its pastor, the Reverend Dr Alan Clifford, and members of his congregation by Labour-run Norwich City Council. Their offence? Distributing a pamphlet entitled "Why Not Islam?", which explains why radicalism and a tendency towards violence is institutionalised within Islam, and highlighting the differences between Jesus Christ and Muhammad. You'll be able to read all about this latest example of Labour bullying ordinary decent people on behalf of Islam on our website shortly too, and there'll be an opportunity for you to take action to help. On the postal front, I received a reply from Parliamentary President Martin Schulz to my questions about the EU's extravagant collection of truly hideous modern art. Fair play to Herr Schulz, as I only wrote him a few weeks ago, whereas I'm still waiting for a response from his predecessor, Jerzy Buzek, to a letter I sent him in December about the total absence of Christian images from Parliament's Christmas cards. Anyway, the key information I've uncovered is that the EU's purchase of 387 quote representative works of modern art unquote, that's overhyped chimpoid junk to thee and me, set back the unfortunate taxpayers a staggering €1,827,501. I'm not sure which masterpiece they spent €1 on. I rather hope it was The Dwarf and Two Sons, which I posted for my Twitter followers when I first raised this issue. I'll be publishing the full text of Herr Schulz's reply shortly online, together with more pictures showing you what these neo-Marxist idiots are wasting your money on. And yes, since you ask, despite imposing austerity for the masses, they're still buying. I was also informed that the value of the collection is currently subject to ongoing valuation by art experts. I'll be writing back to Herr President Schulz suggesting that the quickest and most cost-effective way of getting an accurate valuation is simply to sell the whole lot. The empty spaces on the walls could perhaps be filled by stretched canvas reproductions of classic, genuine works of art chosen online by ordinary voters to represent the best of our own traditional national cultures. Even cheaper, and perhaps more constructive, would be to put up large blank posters, one for each MEP, on which they would be compelled to write, in their native languages of course, the words "I must not waste taxpayers' money" 100 times. World news. Australia has come out and condemned the communist North Koreans for carrying out a missile test which could have a destabilising effect on the region. North Korea launched its rockets after tensions in the region by South Korea and Japan. The good news is that when the rocket took off, soon after the launch the rocket fell apart and splintered. The satellite that was to be launched disintegrated and fell into the sea. There is a God. The United Nations has demanded that the ongoing fighting between North Sudan and South Sudan must end. The UN Council explained that the continued fighting could lead to a full-scale conflict again. The conflict has seen many people killed in the past and also accounts for much of the famine in those regions, and an escalation would be a disaster, one spokesperson has stated. Syrian troops are engaged in more fighting against rebels near the border with Turkey. The ongoing conflict is said to continue in the area. The UN has asked for a ceasefire, but the Syrian government explained that when they try to carry it out, the rebels attack them again. Thought for the day: Takfeer or worse? Well folks, here I am again. Please believe me when I say that if we did not have the Islamic problem growing ever larger within our shores, I would be happy as a pig in shit. There'd be no need for me to bring up these parasites most weeks, and you and I could dwell on the more pleasant aspects of being British. But here we are again, some of the headlines reading as London's university to stop sale of booze, an Islamic extremist declares Britain's first Sharia law zone in London, and welcome to the Halal Inn, Britain's first alcohol-free Islamic pub, happily named after a particularly nasty form of ritual slaughter. Have you ever heard of the word takfir? To summarise that phrase, it means that a Muslim can adopt the way of the unbeliever to become integrated into a society or be seen to be one of us, and then revert to his original status when he has achieved his objective, which is to convert and change an object, place or people to the way of Islam. There follows a short passage which is amongst a veritable pile of verses on this. If I have missed anything out, I'm not apologising. I shouldn't have to read it at all in my country. Kufir is, I believe, the spoken word kafir, us and other non-believers and our state of grace or lack of it as far as Muhammad goes. and such as open their breasts to disbelief. Surah Al-Nahl 16:106. So what has to be the case is that the heart embraces Kafir and is at peace with it, and the soul is satisfied with it. So the appearance of wicked beliefs only is not to be taken into account here, especially if one is ignorant of the fact that they are contrary to Islam. Likewise, account will not be taken of the appearance of an action of Kafir for the one who did not intend to leave Islam by it and enter into Kafir, and likewise account will not be taken of a word spoken by a Muslim which is a saying of Kafir when he does not believe what it means. So my friends, seeing is not believing. The Muslim edict over here is adopt, adapt and improve or not. Where do I start? First with the university. Although I do not like drink-sodden students, the best place to have them is on campus and not off campus. What right do a so-called handful of Muslim students have to dictate? If they do not want to drink, fair enough, go and study, get the degree you want and get out of the country. Of course that is not what they want. These so-called students want to change our universities to their ideal. It is as simple as that. Change is the only diktat in their world. Rather like Obama, but change for what? Considering that 1 in 4 of the students from Pakistan are bogus, that really would explain it all. As the British National Party have predicted, the change will start with something simple like booze. Now no one likes to see drunken, out of control young girls or youths, but most of us like a wee dram from time to time. So they are attacking our moral and ethical Achilles heel. The Brits have always drunk, as have the Scots, Irish and Welsh. The answer is simple. Stop all-day opening hours for pubs, take cheap booze away from the corner shops, mainly Asian run, and the supermarkets, mainly Jewish owned, and open up old-fashioned off licences again. Certain hours to buy and consume. Let universities and pubs have their booze and their smoking rooms back, so we have a choice of how to kill ourselves. Take this out of the hands of the Muslim dictators now. Now Sharia zones being forced on Waltham Forest by a convert? Lovely. Would the Arabs like it if we not only colonised their countries, but set up entire regions for Christians, masses of churches, pork butchers' shops and pubs? No, it is not their culture. Well, like it or not, it has become a British tradition. As a throng of Muslim families crowded around him, Abu Izzadeen spoke in a quiet voice of his plans for the future of Britain. The tall, bearded ginger minger, recently freed from prison after serving a term for funding terrorism, tells in chilling detail how he wants to impose Islam's strict Sharia law on this country. He is determined to stop Western decadence. Why? He is living and was born in the West. Go east, young man, go east, and take your tacky yellow stickers with you. Are our Christians, Jews and non-Muslims going to find themselves second-class citizens of their own country? Remember the German Jews had been in their country for over 800 years and found themselves wearing yellow badges. Is this the thin end of a forthcoming wedge? Now the halal inn, words fail me. 2 rather odd-looking Muslim guys with soft drinks in their hands saying cheers. Oh, please. The halal inn is open for non-alcoholic business only, of course. It used to be an old English public house. The halal inn's owner, Aziza Rahman, and his business partner Muzahid Khan have opened the country's first Islamic pub last December in Oldham. Fruit juice, coffee and tea and Asian snacks are available, and Islamic music is played over the loudspeakers. My idea of hell on earth. The owners feel that whilst English pubs are being forced to close every day, they should be taken over by Asians for this sort of get-together, which of course excludes women. Mr. Khan was quoted as saying that Muslims are a major consumer group now and should be considered. Well, this is because, Mr. Khan, you do not integrate. You very rarely see a Muslim at a theatre, films, restaurants, art galleries, museums and more. They do not put their money into our country at all. The man and woman in the street is still inclined to think we are dealing with the Arabian Nights here. Probably due to the fact that extremely oil-rich Arabs have been coming over here since the 1960s, drinking like fishes and having sex with everything that moves and paying very generously for it. We think that is how they live. They don't. This is why they've been coming over here to do it. In their own countries they are models of Islamic goodness. Stop buying up Britain so you can have it as you want it. Stop buying up Britain so you can duplicate conditions that you left. Stop buying up Britain so you and everyone else has to worship your God. Stop buying up Britain to accommodate your future generations. You are not diverse or religiously multi-faith. Why should we be? The Muslims in our country are ghettoising themselves voluntarily and willingly. However, they need land and businesses and food to do it, and that is why we, the British, are feeling ever more pressed into a confined space of living, culture and religion. Make no mistake, we are under attack and colonisation, despite what the authorities whimper about diversity, multi-ethnic culture and liberalism. This is supposed to go two ways, not just one way. We are allowing our government, councils, schools, universities, businesses and lifestyle to be changed drastically to suit what is after all supposed to be a minority ethnic community. People forget, and we forget, we are an island people, only just aligned to our so-called European brothers, but we are like the Japanese, an island race, and who is to say our so-called culture is wrong? Surely not the very people who pour into this country day after day, month after month and year after year. To get a true idea of what the Muslims think of us, read some of their websites. Strange how a religion of peace ties up with a general threatening prose, isn't it? And finally, it's Friday the 13th and beware if you live in Stoke-on-Trent, for at Victoria Hall in Hanley, a team of ghost hunters are preparing to go hunting for apparitions and other things that go bump in the night. The hall was built to mark the jubilee of the great Queen Victoria around 1890. Prisoners were once jailed at the Great Hall awaiting trial. The hunt is on till 2 a.m, so plenty of time to catch a ghost tonight for those attending. You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozar and we at Radio Britain wish you all a very happy and safe weekend.